Darius James. I'm 22.
My name is Aliana Pena, and I'm 20 years old.
Hi, my name is Raylene Humphrey. I'm 20 years old.
Yes, I have. Well, I am a server at a restaurant called Perkins in Hudson, Ohio, and there were 2 times this summer where I was specifically like called out for my skin color. I had one table. They were just really rude to me, but I kind of just like let it slide. Like I didn't think anything of it. After the rude table left, my other table, who were regulars, they came up to me and they were like, look, like, you shouldn't have been treated like that. Like, I'm really sorry that you had to get treated that way. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I deal with this kind of stuff every day. Like, so they went and they talked to my manager, and I'm just thinking, like, wow, like, that table must have been saying some crazy things if my regular table feels this strongly about what they were saying. So come to find out, they were talking about me because I forgot to bring them a straw, and they called me a little N-word girl. It didn't really bother me. Like it kind of surprised me, but like it didn't really bother me because people are just stupid, I guess, and they just say things like that. Another table, who comes in all the time, I refuse to take them anymore. There's a man who he just called me the help. So yeah, that happened. But like I said, like this kind of stuff happens all the time.
My sister actually, and she works at Sprint. At she just kind of nasty attitude, and later on, my sister was doing something with her phones, helping fix them, and she actually like text, the person that she was with, and said the N word, referring to my sister, and I thought that was really unfortunate.
Strangers, maybe old couples, maybe just people that don't like seeing me and her around since it's a pirate, white and black dude together, I guess. It's just something they're not used to seeing.
I think that the movement is more relevant in our generation, so within the millennial generation. And I think that the people who aren't supporting Black Lives Matter are people who don't see the relevance in the message.
A lot of Black people aren't really supportive of it just because, and I mean, they can relate, some can relate, but it's just not hitting at home necessarily.
But we just do that just because we're not educated enough to understand that we need to come together. Most of us are succumb to what society thinks we are supposed to do. So we don't think we have a choice to change anything. So why try to? No, and I say that wholeheartedly with the best of intentions and thought process. On the man, I would not.
I have been pulled over by white male police officers. I've only ever been pulled over by white male police officers, and I would say that I do feel comfortable, but I definitely see why a black man wouldn't feel comfortable. And I have completely different experiences. Maybe it's because of when I open my mouth, you don't exactly hear what you would think a black girl would sound like, but I I guess I've been blessed to not have experienced what I see in the media and what I've heard other people experiencing.
But now, since all those things that happened with police officers and Black men and even women, it just makes you a little bit more cautious, when if I get pulled over by a police officer, that's like the first thing that comes in my mind. The first thing that comes in my mind is, oh shit, like let me get, my ID out, let me get my registration out. What did I do? I hope I don't get a ticket. Yeah, in that sense, I don't. No, I really don't.
All Lives Matter side, which is a valid argument considering that a lot of people aren't black, like and not everybody is black and not everybody sees why Black Lives Matter, and a lot of people are just ignorant to it. And I think that like a lot of people confuse ignorance with disrespect and like people who don't stand for it, and I guess that like being ignorant to some people isn't the same as support. So I think that it really just depends on how you see it.
I mean, all lives do matter. I get what they mean, but I feel like it's kind of belittling, the purpose of why, that movement sparked up. And it's just like, we get that, but it's just, I feel like black, problems have been just like put back on this back burner for so long. And then when, police officers are killing, literally on videotape killing, black people, and, there is no consequences for them at all. It's just kind of unfortunate. So
to disprove this notion that there's different races and there has to be different races and different categories of races for some odd reason to be a good society. We just all need to come together and figure out a way to coincide with one another and be a good group of humans that have a great spirituality and great souls. That's it. It's the only thing. But everybody needs to understand that there's a certain way about going to do these things. And being violent and riot and everything else is not the way to do this. You got to be calm, you got to be collected.
Start to punish, people who are doing these crimes. I feel like that's really the main thing, is just these crimes are happening. And I mean, when we do crimes, like if I do a crime, then I'm going to get in trouble for it. Like the police are going to arrest me or do something, there's some type of consequence. And just because the police are in this, brotherhood, then, just slap on the wrist, going about their day, their lives are the same. So just really, just start punishing, when it's due.
It's really about understanding and about taking the time to listen to everybody and just like really caring for other people. Because when you say like things like all lives matter, and you don't even know, you can't even imagine what it's like to be in somebody else's life when, from where you are, I think that that's a really redundant statement. So I think that a lot of people just need to take a step back and just really understand.
I don't know nothing else.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.